Townsend. Meyer. Plenty in the middle. If Max Meyer can provide the cross, he can, and that didn't take long. It's Benteke on the end of it. Just over a minute of pre-season played, and the Eagles ahead. Right in front of goal. Benteke with a simple finish made by Meyer. That's the Premier League club with a perfect start in the Uhrencup. Who had his injury problems throughout virtually the entirety of last season, Christian Benteke in from the start, in between the two centre-backs, Lezovic and Schultz. Votes with ease. The deputant goalkeeper, Marius Muller, left with little chance. He only arrived at FC Luzern on Friday.
Such an
asset. Palace, a really disappointing couple of seasons now. He's put his side ahead in front of those travelling fans. The Crystal Palace supporters away to my left-hand side. Plenty of them have made the trip for a week in the summer in Switzerland. Forward again.
Second minute, goal for Crystal Palace FC, scored by
He's the danger man for the Eagles last season amongst the top scorers in the Swiss Super League. Luzern finished fifth, and for the third time in 5 years. To earn them a spot in the second qualifying round of the Europa League, which they will contest a little later this month. First round starting this week, of course. Towards Benteke again. There's the captain Milivojevic. A heavy touch and just left himself with a bit of a problem there, hence the concession of the free kick. Challenge was on Christian Schneufli. Back to his feet, as is customary in this competition, being played in a decent spirit. He was a little late, understandable, given it is the first match of pre-season for Palace. Always busy schedule at this time of year. The trip to Switzerland and the game against Young Boys on Saturday. There are matches scheduled away at Barnet and Nottingham Forest, Bromley and Bristol City. Luzern trying to find Schneufli to trick a way through. Finished in by Margiotta. A response straight away from the Swiss side. Juventus player where he came through the ranks, Francesco Margiotta, the new signing, didn't make the first team in Serie A. To add to their attacking options for the campaign. Great waiting to take this throw. The second attempt. Is dispossessed by Meyer doing his defensive duties, potentially turning into trouble. Simon Greta once more with support from Aleke. Plenty of pace and power up front. Block is by Van Aanholt. The corner is Luzern's. They've dominated the minutes after the early concession. Worst possible start to the game for Thomas Haberle and his side. They have picked themselves up already. Lucerne-born coach back with his hometown team, having played most of his career at Young Boys, over 200 league appearances for them. That's a decent one. Nudged a little further clear by Max Meyer again. It's a dangerous ball, it's the equalising goal. The response from Luzern almost as swift. Crystal Palace's lead did not last long. It's Schneufli, I think, the skipper that scored it. The right place to profit, another close-range finish. Pascal Schwerf maybe the one that got the final touch there. And Wayne Hennessy beaten. Yeah, it's Schwerf's goal, isn't it? The experienced midfielder. providing the ammunition. Those two so important last season for Luzern. Combining to great effect here. It's a good ball in. Scherf was there to apply the finish. Score of 9 goals in the Swiss Super League last season. Basel-born player. About to start a third season with Luzern. There is a goal scorer. Both teams on target inside the opening 7 minutes, and here come Luzern again. Scherf again looking for another. Great dealt with this time by Henderson. Maybe an opportune time to point out that if it is all square after 90 minutes tonight, we do go to a penalty shootout. 3 points for a win in this competition, 2 points for a penalty shootout victory. The Uhrencup will be lifted by the team that finishes top of the round robin group. The 4 games from inside twice. 2 overseas visitors to the competition. Palace and Eintracht Frankfurt don't meet each other. What do they do, the Swiss sides? It's a competition that has been won by English visitors in each of the last 2 seasons. Stoke City in 2017, and then Wolverhampton Wanderers last year. Went on to have very different Premier League seasons that followed. Stoke, as the Uhrencup holders, ended up being relegated, but Wolves had a very decent first season back after promotion. Palace preparing for a 7th straight season in the Premier League as the offside flag goes up against Connor Wickham. Another like Benteke, he's had big injury issues, even worse, of course, than the big Belgian. Just hoping he can stay fit this pre-season and stake his claim. It will be his 5th season after joining from Sunderland, but he hasn't started a Premier League game primarily because of injury since November of 2016, and that horrific knee injury suffered at Swansea. A striking option back on the bench tonight, by the way. We may see him at some stage. Is the Norwegian centre forward Alexander Sørloth as going close again. Snapshot from almost out of nothing, really, from Aleke. Any problems for Milivojevic? Wayne Hennessy getting the start in the Crystal Palace goal. For Stephen Henderson, his backup on the bench tonight, the new signing for the coming campaign on a 1-year contract after the departure of Julian Speroni, long-serving club legend. Decent way to give him the evening off. Maybe we'll see him against young boys. Here's Benteke, the Palace goal scorer. Too many options immediately available to Simon Greta. Milivojevic forward, Connor Wickham stopped in his tracks. There's Schnurvlik. Now Margiotta. Interesting to see what he can bring to this Luzern side for this season. Italian under-19 international. He was calling for it again through the middle. Instead, Aleke will leave it. Useful ball in towards Pascal Scherf, the goal scorer. For Townsend, in that right-back role currently, helping out his defence. The regular first-teamers in from the start tonight, Andros Townsend. Wilfried Zaha, of course, and speculation continues to centre over Zaha and his future, which may well be resolved only after the conclusion of the Africa Cup of Nations. He's helped Ivory Coast into the quarter-finals of that competition. So he's never going to be involved in this stage of their pre-season, whatever happen afterwards. Here's Townsend again. Be a free kick right under the referee's nose. Turkovic. He's a former Serbian under-21 international from Partizan Belgrade after 4 years there. His second season in Switzerland. He made his debut for Partizan against London opposition, faced Tottenham in the Europa League 5 years ago now. All the way back to Hennessy again. It's an uncertain touch though. Margiotta couldn't make him pay. Van Arnold clears Benteke deep inside his own half to come and collect. Looking for Townsend. Let's have Wickham trying to stay onside ahead of him. Down goes Townsend. Hopefully not impressed this time. A decent view of it again. So looking to build from the back with Stefan Nezovic. With his hometown side having come through the youth ranks. He's made the first team squad actually 5 years ago, but only made his Super League debut in April of 2017. Challenged by Luke Dreyer, on the ball well. Woods with work to do, but he's found Townsend. Continued his run. Sam Woods gets himself in a little bit of a tangle. There is space now, push first down that left-hand side. Margiotta and Aleke both waiting for the cross in the middle. Might get a second chance to deliver it here, he does. It's out by Van Aanholt. The deflected effort was awkward for Hennessy. Evan Schultz with the shot. Keeper able to watch it underneath his crossbar. Voka in the FC Luzern midfield. Cost of an international of some repute, 7 caps since his debut last year. Youth team product at Luzern. There are a handful of them in this starting 11 by Thomas Haberle. He was only appointed in February. After he resigned as Basel's assistant coach, replaced the former Anderlecht and Nuremberg manager René Weiler in charge at Luzern, and he only took over at the start of last season from Gerardo Sione. He left for young boys and helped them run away with the Swiss Super League title. The other team, of course, the Swiss side in this Uhrencup competition. They start their campaign tomorrow here against Eintracht Frankfurt. Scott Dan returned from injury in the second half of last season. But, no longer a Premier League regular, or at least wasn't at the end of last season. It's the final day of the campaign through injury, providing real experience in this Palace 11 tonight. Nervy forward towards Blessing Aleke. Here's Max Meyer. Lavojevic looking for Luke Dreyer. He's lucky to put his injury issues behind him. Huge lift for him to be able to make his Premier League debut. Final day of last season off the bench against Bournemouth in that remarkable 5-3. Having missed much of the campaign through injury, much of the last 18 months really. First featured in the Premier League squad back in 2016. Won well by Meyer. This is Dreyer. Lavojevic won't quite reach it. Margiotta. Really involved in the opening exchanges for Luzern. From Luzern is the Italian.
Bring it back.
Schnurby was trying to return it to him. He found Max Meyer in the way. He's perhaps looking the most lively for Crystal Palace in this first quarter of an hour. Take a stop by Sylvain Sidler. Margiotta. There's the goal scorer again, Pascal Schwerf in field. Greta thinks about the shot, plenty of power behind it, but Wayne Hennessy was also behind it, able to make the save. Luzern continuing to look the most threatening just at the moment. Might not quite have the players of the same pedigree as Palace, but they are a little further down the line in their pre-season preparations, which I also hope will come into play tonight and be a factor in their favour. Also, a nasty-looking one by Lazar Čerković. He's the first to offer the hand of apology to Benteke. About to see a few missed-time challenges at the stage of pre-season. It's not necessarily an excuse for all of them. Again at the Hennessy stop. Just getting up as well in inside the Tissot Arena here. Past 8 local time now. The shadows beginning to lengthen in the foot of the Jura Mountains. Temperatures in around about the mid-20s earlier in the day. Only now just starting to dip. Pleasant conditions.
That's Maxi! That's you, Maxi! That's you, Maxi!
Greta again. Time to deliver the cross. Really dealt with by Dan. A bit panicky in the penalty area from Crystal Palace. At the expense of a corner kick here. Christian Schnurfli to take. Goes near post. Mirzovic up from the back. That's the target for him. Inspired declined the opportunity to launch it long. Instead, they will try and build from the back, and then once the counter-attack here, slip down the line. The cross aimed towards Ambrose Townsend, who will reach it. Wickham in the middle. Maya arriving beyond him was the target instead. Not quite able to collect it. Penalty area to the other pretty quickly there in Crystal Palace, moving through the gears. Now they've got to get back again as it goes from end to end. It's with Nezovic. Schnurfli, the creative talent in the Luzern side. Down goes Aleke. He was convinced he should have had the free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. The Swiss officials thought otherwise. Benteke surely having his shirt held. There's the conclusion that referee Sam comes to in the end. It's an awkward one for Jaro Riedeveld. At centre back tonight, alongside Dan. Frank ball signing, of course, he hasn't really had much game time under Roy Hodgson. To take his chance in pre-season to change that for the coming campaign. It is early in pre-season and the squad is still at this stage certainly taking shape. Incomings and outgoings still expected. In terms of the younger players, it's an opportunity to impress, but also to impress potential suitors in terms of loan deals. Pretty common these days for players to go on the pre-season tours with their parent clubs and then come back and move on, at least on a temporary basis, in search of more regular first-team football.
Good.
He just couldn't quite control it. He's at the start of his fourth season with Luzern. He come through the ranks actually at FC Barcelona. He made 2 league appearances there, former Swiss under-21 international. Finds Riedeveld. Scott Dam. This is Dre. Big season coming up for him. 7 of the under 23 squad, part of the travelling party for Crystal Palace in Switzerland. Aaron Woods getting starts. It's having played very regularly with the first team last season. And the 5 on the bench, hoping later there will be mass changes at some stage of the contest. Teke, the player penalised this time as the first half heads rapidly towards its midway point. The goals coming early. If you are just joining us, Christian Benteke putting Crystal Palace in front inside the second minute of the match. Goal scorer Pascal Schwerf, the skipper, target about 4 minutes later. Schultz. Simon Greta. Away from Meyer. Away from Riedeval. Patrick van Arnholt comes away with it. Pressing high. Crystal Palace some problems in that respect. There's not just about the results, of course, certainly at this stage of pre-season. Despite the fact there is silverware at stake in this Uhrencup. Getting minutes in the legs as far as Roy Hodgson is concerned. Smile stretching his legs as he comes forward here. Colin Wickham delivering the cross, looking for Benteke again. Sylvan Sidler trying to get on the end of it to complete the job of getting it clear. Strength to go with his pace as he slips it through for Schnurvely to chase. He'll get there just ahead of Van Arnholt. He's unable to make anything of it as it lands on the roof of the net. Player of proven pedigree in the Swiss Super League, Christian Schnurvely. Started his 4th season with Luzern. He joined from Zurich in 2016. He started at Young Boys. He played at FC Thun. He's familiar in these parts as well, actually, after a loan at the local club, FC BLBN. It was over a decade ago now. He's 31. His brother Marco also plays at Oro. Not too far away from here. They've played together at 3 of his former clubs. Contributed 4 goals. He's the chief assist maker in the side last season. Here come Palace again. Van Arnholt will get it back. Meyer trying to turn, couldn't quite control the shot that followed. There was a flag up on the far side. So it was ultimately academic. Just went a fraction too soon. Deflect away off the defender there, off Stefan Nezovic. As far as maybe not quite seeing the best of Max Meyer last season, he would argue he wasn't regularly played in his preferred position and is effectively again stationed on the left-hand side tonight. I was going to say wide left, but he's drifting infield at every opportunity. Very narrow 4-4-2. Unfamiliar, of course, under Roy Hodgson. Options last season for the front two were both lone players, Michy Batshuayi and Jordan Ayew. Every possibility, one or both of those deals could be made permanent yet. They are not currently Crystal Palace players. So they are 2 notable names missing from last season's squad, those that have arrived here in Switzerland. Season training started for them over a week ago. Back in Beckenham last Monday. They trained Monday, Tuesday. They had Wednesday as a recovery session. Trained Thursday, Friday and Saturday before leaving later that day for Switzerland. recovery session here on Sunday, and then they've been building up to this game. Always busy at this stage of the summer. Milivojevic forward to Benteke. Skips past the challenge into space. Couldn't beat the second challenge, which was well timed from Mezovic. Still the danger maybe with Max Meyer. Milivojevic once more. And towards Christian Benteke. It was a real chance for him a moment ago. There might have been another in there if he could have brought it down on the chest. Didn't quite have the room for it. Instead, Luzern will break with Margiotta. Riedeveld backed up to him. Still Margiotta. Didn't have support from his strike partner, Blessing Eleke. Couldn't quite thread it through to him. And there is Milivojevic. Let's try a free kick, Crystal Palace. To stake his claim in that central midfield role. This was the chance for Benteke. He'd done the first bit brilliantly to open up the opportunity in the first place. Which was just a little too heavy in the end, which enabled the covering defender to make a well-timed challenge, as it had to be in the circumstances. Pocket of space for Patrick van Aanholt. Scott down. Former skipper. Townsend with a little flick towards Connor Wickham and gets it back again. Andros Townsend slips it through. When Myers made the run, he's got Benteke in the middle. It didn't quite get that far. Brilliantly dealt with by Greta. With a very timely intervention. Getting back just in the nick of time. Now at the other end, here's Margiotta. Snurfley was calling for it. Throws up his arms in frustration that it didn't quite reach him. His run had been spotted. Ball didn't get that far.
Keep the ball. Keep the ball.
Either end again. Palace were in here.
Keep passing. Just keep moving it around. Give yourself a blast.
Tracked the run all the way at Simon Greta. His position wide on the right. Sun now dipping behind the stands at the Tissot Arena. Conditions maybe not quite as pleasant for the supporters, maybe more so for the commentator. That sun, as I say, disappearing. The conclusion of the contest, half an hour in. In addition to the early scoring from either side. Very vociferous. Just down in front of me on the edge of the technical area, the Crystal Palace assistant manager barking out the instructions. Just coming into your shot very briefly there. Sidler. Full back to the other and Greta. Mezovic was looking for him, he's overhit it. His reaction tells the story. Expected to be regular again at the back for FC Luzern. He made 8 appearances in the Super League last season, 22 years of age now. He's hoping this is going to be a big breakthrough season for him. Pre-season has shaped up that way. If you can read too much into Thomas Habeli's selections thus far. First couple of games were experimental teams. He's tended to go with what is likely to be, give or take, his first choice lineup in the last 2 games. It's okay, but the free kick goes the other way. himself a little unfortunate up against Nezovic. Milivojevic in the meantime. Did win their most recent friendly, Luzern, by 3-0 against local rivals Uhrencup. Campaign up to this point has been something of a mixed bag. That was very much the highlight. It's their first friendly, 4-2 against the challengers side, the second-tier team, Winterthur. And a goalless draw against Rheindorf-Altach, the Austrian club, followed. Nezovic forward. A bit of space for Margiotta to have a go. Messi right behind it, able to take the second touch. Lewington now replaced on the edge of the technical area by, again for himself, Roy Hodgson, who's posing for fans in the sunshine before the game, so popular, of course, in these parts. A legend in Switzerland from his time with the national team. But he was very much looking forward to coming back. One of Palace's pre-season preparations. Previously coached Neuchâtel Xamax, who actually played in this competition a couple of years ago, before getting the Swiss national job in 1992. Led them to the World Cup 2 years later, their first finals in 28 years. Never be forgotten in this part of Europe. Charging forward is Simon Greta. Holds it up while support arrives. Schnurvlik provides him with an option. Marvin Schultz, Sylvan Sidler. Cross was aimed towards Schnurvlik, Van Arnholt got there first. Sets of substitutes currently warming up the near touchline. As I say, we will see a ref to change it at some stage, potentially even at half-time, as Ross Townsend ventures forward. A good ball in towards Benteke, who went for the spectacular, missed his kick, but still the threat from Max Meyer. Meyer returns it, Townsend. And nobody could quite apply the finishing touch in front of goal this time in the manner that Benteke managed very early in the game. Much more of a threat about Crystal Palace in that particular attack. Has had his chances to add to his and his team's tally as the big Belgian centre forward. Haven't been able to capitalise a second time. Townsend's going to leave the corner for his captain Milivojevic to take. It's a packed penalty area awaiting the delivery from the Serbian here. So important on the set piece. Looking for Benteke, it was just over his head. It was Riederveld that met it behind him and couldn't keep it down. Has to go down as a chance for Crystal Palace. That one for Jaro Riederveld. He was an unused substitute 17 times in the Premier League last season without getting on. He's about to start his third year now since making that move from Ajax. As mentioned earlier, he made under his former Ajax coach Frank de Boer, who famously lasted just those 4 Premier League games before Roy Hodgson took over. Successfully kept Palace up in the 2 seasons that have followed, but will be hoping maybe for more than that this time around. They did end up 12th last season. In the end, comfortably stayed up, 15 points clear of the relegation zone. Riederveld here towards Conor Wickham. 3 points outside of the top half last season, plus an FA Cup quarter-final for Crystal Palace. Foundations to build on. If they can get this squad in shape, they'll hope to add to it. Down to who they can keep hold of, though, having already, of course, lost out on Wan-Bissaka, albeit for big money to Manchester United. The academy product. There's Margiotta. Blessing Aleke. Brings it down with space to surge into as a result, and then goes for goal. Shot a little too close to Wayne Hennessy. He's able to make another relatively routine stop. Wilson was concerned there on the touchline by the space that Leke was able to find and run into. Not too easy for him to get that shot away. Finished last season in very decent form for Luzern, a goal scorer in 3 of their last 6 games. Here's Max Meyer for Crystal Palace. Benteke. Central figure in the first half story, certainly. Here he goes again. Christian Benteke leaves 2 defenders on the floor, pulls it back for Max Meyer. His shot is blocked. Didn't really connect with conviction. Benteke trying to return the favour after the Germans set him up for that opening goal. Milivojevic. Back by Idris Fulkat to his goalkeeper Muller. Was expected to start as the first choice for Luzern this season. So from RB Leipzig. Didn't get beyond their bench in the Bundesliga last season. He'd been out on loan at his former club Kaiserslautern for the whole of the previous campaign. First left him for Leipzig back in 2016. Marvin Schultz striding forward, slips it into space for Leke. Again, he's threatening. Took a little too long to get the shot off this time. He might get another go. He does have support from Schnürfli. Didn't catch that cleanly. It was never troubling the target, but again, Luzern had positioned themselves in dangerous territory. First start of pre-season, last time out in the game against O'Rourke. He and Schwerf was likely to be kept in tandem today, and they have, as we've seen, already linked up for that Luzern goal. Ahead of Benteke, Wickham behind him. Mizovic got an important head to it. Certainly trying to bring it clear. There's Meyer, with time to turn. Van Arnold forward from fullback in support ahead of him. Patrick Van Arnold's cross is too deep for those in the middle. May well, and indeed does, reach Wickham on that far side. Clearance was by Čurković. Wickham still battling for it. Townsend helps him out. Townsend settled for the corners, probably about the best he could have hoped for in the circumstances. And the set-piece opportunity then for the Eagles as we head towards the final 5 minutes of the first half in BLBN. They scored early in the half, can they score late in the half to restore that lead? Townsend, having won the corner, will take this one, assuming the responsibility. Overhitting it. Pushed plenty forward at Palace into the penalty area. It's a disappointing delivery. Maybe Milivojevic will be back on the next one. It's a sign of Luzern's intent, maybe the signing of Marius Muller. He's a player that Leipzig paid just short of €2 million for 3 years ago. Able to fought his way past Peter Gulaschi, the former Liverpool goalkeeper. It's their first choice. There's Relive, plenty of time and room in which to work. So we're pressing high earlier in the half, quite as evident at this stage in proceedings. For the start of the Swiss Super League season. It starts a lot earlier than the English Premier League. Their opening game is at St Gallen on the 20th of July.
Now push up, leave him offside.
It's a weak Saturday, so you would expect to be sharper than Crystal Palace at this stage. The following week we'll see them involved in that Europa League second round of qualifying. Year in a row actually that they've entered Europa League qualifying to reach the group stage. They've failed in the last 7 attempts to do that. Advance again through Francesco Margiotta here. There's the cross towards Aleke, couldn't quite get his head to it. Pascal Scherf will keep the danger alive on the far side and return it with intent. Ross Townsend to bring it clear though for Crystal Palace. There's Meyer. Benteke. He's made himself available in this first half. Now Milivojevic. Benteke. Striding forward is the one that delivers the cross. And he partially cleared Connor Wickham challenging for it. Can't get enough on it. Aleke. Schnurflick. Slowing down the pace of the game. Tempo has noticeably dropped actually as the half has gone on. These players, I think, already in the knowledge that they won't be involved in too much of the second half, if at all. Bench named tonight, not quite big enough to afford Roy Hodgson the chance of changing the entire team. He hasn't included everybody that's made the training trip in the match day squad this time around. Mix of Tompkins and Sacco. May well wait until Saturday. There's Aleke. Linking with Sidler. Hoists the cross high. It was an awkward one, and Arnold's missed it. Schnurflick will chase after it. He gets it back, wasn't quite able to link with Marvin Schultz as intended.
Just hold up, just hold up for us.
It's Benteke again.
Very good, Christian, very good.
Dreyer.
Very good, Christian.
Townsend's made the run. Was spotted, he will just get his foot to it first as well as he takes on Čurković here. And Ross Townsend's done well. Cross a little too close to Marius Muller. Wickham and Benteke were targets in the middle there. And the last minute of the first half. Quality of the approach play and the persistence of the approach play, not quite matched by the delivery that followed. You can certainly see what he was trying. It's like this all about getting the eye in again after the summer break. As much work as you want on the training ground, but friendly such as this, with the extra edge of the competition format, trophy at the end of it, will certainly help bring the players along. And there goes the half-time whistle, nothing to add on at the end of the first 45 minutes. All the action really coming early. Benteke putting Crystal Palace in front, made by Max Meyer inside the first 2 minutes. In fact, just over a shade over a minute on the clock. The Roy Hodgson side made the breakthrough, but the lead didn't last long. Pascal Scherf, the Luzern captain, with the equalising goal 4 minutes later, and at half-time at the Tissot Arena in BRBN, it's FC Luzern 1, Crystal Palace 1. For both bosses to build on, but equally things to work on. There's always going to be, of course, in the stage of pre-season. The teams head for the tunnel. It's a wonderful setting that has been played in the Tissot Arena. It's built stadium which has an ice hockey arena, so that goal away to our right-hand side as well. Let's look back on the first half highlights for you. Crystal Palace straight into their stride. And on the attack from the off, reaping their rewards here. Max Meyer did brilliantly to wriggle into a little bit of space and deliver a perfect cross for Christian Benteke, unmarked between the two centre-backs. Straightforward finish for the Belgian. So over a minute, about 69 seconds, I think it was on the clock at that stage. Luzern defence asking all sorts of questions of each other. Marius Muller on his debut was beaten very early. But the response was swift and impressive from Luzern. Schneider's ball in and Pascal Schwerf gambled and attacking it. He was able to profit from getting his boot to the ball first to level it up, the captain. Important player in this side that finished 5th in the Swiss Super League last season. Amongst the goals straight away really in pre-season. Their last match against Aurora. And a player who scored 9 times for them in the Super League. Benefiting from his predatory instincts. It was the end of the first half scoring as it turned out. Palace did push forward again in pursuit of re-establishing their lead. Before the break, Max Meyer could keep his shot down. Provider of the opening goal. Turn finisher. Really extended by that one. Francesco Margiotta with the shot for Luzern. They probably had the majority of the chances actually inserted the game's 3rd goal, but once they'd looked at the break, a reminder it will go to penalties should it finish all score at the end of 90 minutes. That remains a big if. Changes are on the way in the second half as well, surely. Which will be live and upcoming very shortly. Stay with us in BLBN at half-time here at the Tissot Arena. It's FC Luzern 1, Crystal Palace 1, and that second half on the way shortly.
Euer Partner für eine innovative Kommunikation. It's-2.com. Affichage, flyering, street marketing, graphisme, impression. It's time to. Votre partenaire pour une communication innovative. It's-2.com.
in Chemie in Moldawien am Sommerlager und Philadelphia Luzern etc.
Und jetzt gebe ich das Wort genau dem Martin, den wir gesehen haben, ehemaliger Profifußballer und später eine Sportschafter von Stiftung Pro Adelphos. Je passe la parole à Martin Andermatt, ancien footballeur professionnel et plus tard entraîneur. Il est l'ambassadeur de la Fondation Pro Adelphos.
Ja, Martin Andermatt, wir haben es gehört als Botschafter, wir haben es gerade gesehen, seid ihr im Einsatz gewesen, unter anderem in Moldawien. Jetzt seid ihr zurück, rund einen Monat ist es her, was habt ihr mitgenommen?
Ja, ich bin ja viel unterwegs, auch in sozialen Projekten, und das hat mich einfach interessiert, wie was man Zeit, Herz und einfach Emotionen investiert. Ich bin in Moldawien, habe dort Kinder gesehen, die noch nie Ferien gemacht haben, gespendet für das, 20 Franken, 50 Franken. Es sind Kinder, die aus ganz speziellen Verhältnissen kommen, wie wir das auch vor dem gesehen haben. Die Kinder haben zum Teil keine Hoffnung, und wir haben versucht, mit ihnen mal eine Woche Ferien, 3 Tage, 3 Mahlzeiten am Tag, im eigenen Bett schlafen, dass man ihnen einfach Zuversicht schenken kann. Und das habe ich verloren anschauen.
Es sind die Sommercamps von Pro Adelphos, die Sie begleiten für euch als ausgebildete Pädagogen. Wahrscheinlich mit dem Fußball-Hintergrund ist ja Fußballspiel geworden, eine ganz besondere Kombination für euch persönlich.
Ja, natürlich schon. Warum soll ich in Moldawien? Wir haben ja auch in der Schweiz sehr Sachen, wo wir helfen können. Aber wenn ich gesehen habe, wie wenig Geld, dass wir etwas bewirken können, dann muss ich sagen, bin ich heimgekommen und sehr demütig daheim. Eigentlich die kleinen Probleme, die wir haben. Und ich muss sagen, wir haben ganz andere Sachen, die wir verfolgen. Und das ist der Sinn und Zweck, warum das jetzt dazu kam. Ich glaube, wie gesagt, mit einem Kostenbeitrag von 20 Franken, 50 Franken kann man vielleicht diesen Kindern auch eine Hoffnung geben, und vor allem mit ihren eigenen Heimen, dass sie irgendwo an einen Ort gehen können, wo sie dann wirklich gar keine Hoffnung mehr haben.
Merci vielmals, Martin Andermatt, mit das eingeblendet, der Betrag das ist an Zielnummer 488 per SMS, einfach und unkompliziert. Danke, Martin Andermatt, und weiterhin viel Vergnügen hier in Israel, mit unserer Regie.
Et oui, j'appelle à la générosité du public. Faites donc pour la Fondation Pro Adelphos avec quelques clics par SMS envoyés. Connectez 20 au numéro 488 et vous avez déjà aidé. Le résultat intermédiaire de la collecte de dons est régulièrement communiqué lors du match. Also liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, bitte spendet mit wenigen Klicks via SMS für die Stiftung Pro Adelphos. Sommerlager 20 als Nummer 488 schicken und schon habt ihr euren Beitrag geleistet. Besten vielmals. Der Uhrencup bedankt sich ganz herzlich auch bei seinen Sponsoren und Partnern, die den Traditionsanlass erst möglich machen. La Coupon-Roger remercie les sponsors et partenaires qui rendent possible cette compétition de tradition. The tournament organization thanks to all sponsors and partners for making possible this traditional football summer event. Merci unserem Hauptsponsor, Sponsor principal, Erdgas mit der Gasverbund Mittelland AG und in der Partnerwerk. Silberpartner und Partenaire SportX. Ein Bronzepartner und Partenaire de France, Watch City. Und unsere weiteren Sponsoren, un grand merci à l'adresse des autres sponsors, Gepard als Ausrüster en tant que fournisseur, unser Charity Partner Pro Adelphos, unser Travel Partner Destinations Sports und der Voluntary Partner Swiss Volunteers. Grosses Merci an die Adresse von der Städte Bern und Biel als Host Cities, à l'adresse de Berne et Vienne en tant que cité d'eau. Vielen Dank von unseren Medienpartnern. Un grand merci à l'adresse de nos partenaires médias. Now.ch, 20 Minuten, TV24, Radio Bern 1, Radio Bern 3, Radio Sunshine, der Wochenzeitung Lektomanet Biel-Vienne, Berner Bern, Monatsmagazin Funk, Paraco, and it's time to a passive attack. Und schließlich auch ein ganz grosses Merci unseren Matchbau-Sponsoren heute Abend. Un grand merci de l'adresse de nos sponsors de Palma Match. Many thanks also to today's sponsors, Sabab AG Biel, Allianz Suisse, Generalagentur Florian Faustmann in Biel, Borex AG in Subingen, Berger Bau AG in Bühnen Bigler Fleischwaren AG ebenfalls in Bühnen und Henry Rose AG in Renken.
Und Autofahrer wünscht der Uhrencup-Besucher vergnügsame Spiele und wunderschöne Goal. Erdgas, Grund zum Jubeln. Garantie präsentiert der Uhrencup vom 9. bis 13. Juli 2019 sind Israel, Biel und dem Feldstadion Bern. Mit dabei der Europa-League-Kampfmannschaft Eintracht Frankfurt mit dem IB-Meister Adi Ritter. Mit BSC IB, am FC Luzern und mit dem englischen Premier-Ligist Crystal Palace FC, wo der ehemalige Schweizer Nazi-Coach Roy Hodgson als Seite steht. Tickets haben Sie uns gewinnen oder Sie bekommen sie im Verkauf. Auch Infos zum Uhrencup findet ihr auf kanal.ch.
Mais aussi BFC Luzern, le FC Luzern et le club de première ligue anglaise Crystal Palace FC avec Roy Hodgson, ancien coach de la Nati. Achetez vos billets en pré-vente pour gagner des films et trouver toutes les infos sur la coupe horlogère sur canal3.ch.
Und hier noch der weitere Ausblick auf den Rest vom Turnier von diesem Uhrencup. Weiter geht es morgen Mittwoch am 10. Juli, wieder am Abend 8 Uhr, wieder in der Israel. Im zweiten Spiel zwischen BFC Luzern und Eintracht Frankfurt. Das Spiel ist ausverkauft. Das dritte Spiel ist am Freitag, 12. Juli, am Abend um 8 Uhr, nochmal hier in Israel als Spiel. Affiche dann der FC Luzern gegen Eintracht Frankfurt. Und das letzte Spiel von diesem 55. Uhrencup findet wie schon letztes Jahr wieder zu Bern im Stadion Neufeld statt. Der BFC Luzern trifft am Samstagnachmittag, 13. Juli, am 3 auf Crystal Palace FC. Und es hat noch Billett zu und wir sind der Abschluss von diesem Turnier, wo vielleicht das Finale ist. Voici donc les prochains matchs dans le cadre de la 55e Coupe horlogère.
Back, we're almost ready to get the second half started there at the TCL Arena. Opening night in the Uhrencup. One between FC Luzern and Crystal Palace. It's coming in the first 6 minutes of the match. There have been changes, certainly from the English side at half-time. We'll run you through those as we go. Nice sound referee ready to get the action started again. Alexander Sermon there was one of those that's come on. Crystal Palace at half-time. Connor Wickham, Christian Benteke, the goal scorer, is back out there. It will be Luzern, the Swiss side in the white, to get the action restarted here. From right to left. It's Tissot Arena, playing towards actually the Crystal Palace travelling supporters in the second half. There's Max Meyer, another of the stars of the show, ready from the first 45, who is back out there. Van Arnold as well, also played the first half. Advancing from full-back as Relive in support just behind him. James MacArthur, one of those brought on at the break, has slotted into the midfield. And this one, Martin Kelly, has also come on at half-time in place of Sam Woods. John Ward introduced as well. Scott Dam making way. But Woods is still out there, it's just a change of position for him. Now over on that far side of the field, showing his versatility along the back line. There is Woods, Van Arnold to MacArthur. Kelly coming on at centre back. Reminder that James Tompkins and Mamadou Sakho, despite travelling as part of the squad to Switzerland, not involved in the matchday squad this evening. The left-back options, if Van Arnold is given a breather a little bit later on, include Jeffrey Schlupp, although he of course was playing in midfield for much of last season, and young Tyrick Mitchell is an option as well. As Meyer plays it into the feet of Christian Benteke. Able to turn goalwards, not able to get his shot away. Palace still in possession as a result of that physical approach from Benteke, teeing up MacArthur to try and curl one, but he knew, I think, as soon as it left his boot, that it wasn't going to bend back in time. Early encouragement again at the start of the half from Crystal Palace. Of course, they'd scored already by this stage of the first period. There is the Scotsman, mainstay in the side last season, James MacArthur. First little period of possession of the half for Luzern, albeit on the edge of their own penalty area. Čerković. Interesting, it looks like Simon Grota has gone from right back to left back in the second half. Against Max Meyer. Ward, of course, lost his regular role last season because of the emergence of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's moved on to Manchester United. Ward will be hoping to get more of a game again. On the other side. Suarez, one of those released in the summer. MacArthur seeing plenty of it since his introduction. Take the place of Luke Dreyer. Milivojevic has made way as well. In the second half, that's where Riederwold's gone into midfield from centre-back, where he played the first 45. Always going to be the way that Roy Hodgson was to ring the changes at the interval. That's what pre-season is for. It does reiterate the point, really, that Luzern are much further down the road in terms of their preparations, that they haven't made the sweeping changes, treating it maybe more competitively. Number 20 there up top is one of those that has been introduced at half-time. Still Kim Demershai, another option in attack. With the Kosovan internationals, actually. Oh, couldn't quite control the ball from Max Meyer in his stride. Goes to Muller. After being beaten just over a minute into his debut and left really exposed by the defence in front of him, he hasn't really had too much else to do, Marius Muller. He signed for the club on Friday, remember, from RB Leipzig. Yeah, a couple of training sessions with that defence before being thrust into the action tonight. Part of the reason why he is expected to get the full 90 minutes. Challenged by Ward on Demershai. Sola back in Crystal Palace colours after spending the second half of last season out on loan at Ghent in Belgium. The Norwegian international scored 4 goals for the Belgian side. That's why, and are you currently back at their parent clubs? It's opened up an opportunity on this trip for Alexander Sola to prove he maybe still has a future at Selhurst Park in the Premier League. With a glancing header from Margiotta. Really get any contact at all on that, of any note anyway, as he ends up just guiding it into the hands of Wayne Hennessy. It's the ball back at feet this time. He was away with Wales earlier in the summer, Wayne Hennessy, but straight back into the action at the start of pre-season with Crystal Palace.
Push on! Push on! Here we go! Here we go! Good! Good!
There's MacArthur. He's being urged to push on. He might be able to pick that up on our microphones. By Ray Lewington on the edge of the technical area. It breaks down on the edge of the Luzern box. Nozovic has taken over the captain's armband, by the way, for this second half. The goal scorer, Pascal Scherf, is one of those that has made way. Reshuffle up top with the introduction, as mentioned, of Demashai. He won an under-21 cap for Switzerland before being capped at senior level by Kosovo last November. It remains his only cap actually, his debut against Malta. Still only 23. 4 goals scored for Luzern in the Super League last season. Which was his second for the club since a move from Schaffhausen. A wider role in this second half for this man, Blessing Eleke. Here's Greta. Looking up for it, shirking his defensive responsibilities, winning the ball back well. Marvin Schultz has done likewise for Luzern. Crystal Palace have it back in a position of promise. Jeffrey Schlupp playing it forward towards Van Arnholt. Mentioned how Schlupp really had gravitated towards that more central role last season. In the same side as Van Arnholt, they had previously been in competition really for the same spot. To link up again on that occasion. There's MacArthur. Shea did well coming away with that. Offers himself as an option in continuing the counter-attack as well. There's nothing at the end of it for us, and the ball in towards Margiotta needed to be better.
Alex, can you get it?
Is Ward. Readabout. Does provide that versatility that can be so important in the depth of a squad. Equally adept really in the heart of midfield or defence, has even previously played fullback. Natural talent, really. He stays in Amsterdam when he came through with Ajax in the Eredivisie. Future predicted for him at that stage. Hasn't really been able to push on with Palace. Palace are pushing forward here. Bit of panic from Muller. Clearance only as far as Myru delivers the cross. It's well dealt with. So did get a little bit fortunate in the build-up there, having really presented Crystal Palace with that opportunity. Here they come again. Schlupp finding Van Arnholt. Chase on to keep it in play. Does get there first, did well. Beaten away by Muller on his near post. Did have a couple to try and pick out in the penalty area there. Van Arnholt playing further forward. Nominally he's still playing the same role as in the first half, but he appears to be bringing a different mindset to it. Marvin Schultz able to turn. Borussia Mönchengladbach man, he's another of the German contingent. FC Luzern is in the German-speaking part of Switzerland, in the centre of the country. Passing Aleke, the Nigerian. He's got an interesting career path already. Path ends in frustration for him down by the corner flag, but he was signed actually from Israeli football. With Ashdod, he's previously played in Slovenia with Olimpia Ljubljana. It's Christian Benteke for Crystal Palace. Good ball for Schlupp. Quite able to get his shot away, put himself in a really decent position. Profiting from it. Instead it's Margiotta for Luzern. His tempo about the game right now. Pace noticeably dipped at the end of the first half, but the conditions have cooled. Palace in particular freshened it up in terms of personnel. There's a bit of a zip back in the game again. Christian Schwegler, another of the second half substitutes, was the player that tried to have the shot there for the Swiss side, which was blocked away in the end. At the expense only of this throw. Ramo Arnold into the action as well at the break. 3 changes I make it in total. Samo Woods. Lifelong Crystal Palace fan getting his chance at first team level on this trip. And a 2-year contract extension last summer. Being broken into the development team towards the end of the 2015-2016 season. Became a regular for the under-23s the following year. He first made the first team bench in the Premier League at Newcastle in April. 3 times in the FA Cup, and he debuted in the League Cup loss at Middlesbrough last season. He's got a couple of goals actually for the under-23s in the previous campaign. Really everybody but Marius Muller in the Crystal Palace half here. Nezovic on the ball. Lucas Alves, the Brazilian. Also came on at half-time, so made that 4 changes at the interval. Van Arnold forward. Benteke, quite as intended, but he will get a second go as it breaks back into his path with Solid in space. We feel he should have scored. It's a big save from Marius Muller. It's Max Meyer, Riedewald and Schlupp. White shirts back behind the ball again, have had time to reorganise now, and Ward's ball is asking a lot of Meyer. He's had to chase after it, but does keep it in play. MacArthur. There's a really big chance in amongst all that for Alexander Sørloth a moment ago. Palace still have possession. And now does the whistle go. Painful one for Jeffrey Schlupp. Let's have a look at this though. Benteke did get a little lucky in the build-up, but he was able to pick the pass for Sørloth to take the shot on first time. Found the goalkeeper in the way either side of Muller, and that surely would have been 2-1 to the Eagles. It's a good stop from the goalkeeper. It's maybe one that Sørloth will feel he shouldn't have provided him the opportunity to make anyway. So I'm still feeling it. See straight away he was hurt, so could the referee. Had a very decent view of that. It will be a 4th season for Crystal Palace for Jeffrey Schlupp after leaving Leicester City. That title success in 2016. He's shown his versatility since signed on at Selhurst Park, South East London. Looks like he's going to be okay to continue. It's not a night for taking chances, of course, fitness-wise, but we'll get on with it here as Van Arnold takes the free kick in towards Benteke. mere presence is causing a bit of panic in that box. Get the corner out of it this time. Let's see what Van Aanholt was trying. Teke not able to do anything with it, really. As we reach the hour mark in BLBN in the northwest of Switzerland. Nice corner. Teke again underneath it. This is Van Aanholt. Can't force a way through. It's very congested in that penalty area. Luzern scramble it clear. And the hour mark in this pre-season tournament is generally the signal for substitutions. Luzern are about to make 4 of them. They made a similar number at half-time. The next break in play, their coach Thomas Sabelli will ring the change of the game. Hennessy, did he get enough on that? It's been well won back by Damasha, who reacted quicker. It's a poor ball out from Wayne Hennessy. Fought by Leke. Schnurfli. This is Mogiotta. Spell of possession high up the pitch for Luzern. Greta. Not keeping the pressure on, forcing him back into his own half. There's the Brazilian again. Lucas Alves. Or Lukau, as he's known in these parts. He's in the box of the famous Brazilian club Corinthians, now making a league appearance for them. Brazil and Atletico Paranaense back in 2014. He's been based in Switzerland ever since. Chase on for Mogiotta here, who will get there. Just ahead of Kelly. Nobody on the end of the cross. He did well to keep it in play and fashion a hint of an opportunity out of it to Francesco Mogiotta. Palace change is imminent as well. Luzern still waiting to make a quadruple switch. I think we're going to see 3 more from Crystal Palace as well, by the looks of things. Always fun for a commentator. Marvin Schultz. Comes in by Greta. Riedewald. Schlepp under pressure. Safe option really was to guard it back to his goalkeeper. Select the target for the longer ball from Wayne Hennessy. So Palace trying to play out from the back on a regular basis in the first half. They've mixed it up and got a bit more direct in the second half. And with the ball finally going out of play, here we are going to get this raft of substitutions with both teams getting in on the action. You can see a cast-in reserve waiting for their call. For Crystal Palace, it's going to be young Naya Kirby, youngest player in the squad, actually. Another of the youngsters, James Daly, and also Tyrick Mitchell, 3 regulars with the under-23s. Benteke making way, so's Maya. The senior stars being replaced here. Mitchell still waits to come on. It's going to be Patrick Van Aanholt a little belatedly that ventures across to the touchline as well. That'll be a like-for-like switch at left back. Mitchell can't play anywhere down that flank. Full changes as well for Luzern. So pre-planned surely at this stage of the game. Might not necessarily help the flow of the game. There is Kirby. Midfield player of real repute rising through the ranks. They have very high hopes for him. Member of England's under-17 World Cup winning squad a couple of seasons ago. Played in 6 of their 7 games. Signed professional with Palace back in February of 2017, having actually been on the Tottenham books prior to that. So we look at the award of the free kick. Joel Ward in the thick of it is the one that's going to take it for the Eagles here. 20 minutes into this second half, 1-1 in BLBN. Goes by Ward. Sending with plenty back to deal with it. MacArthur will try and return it with the up and under, but Muller makes it his. Confident enough take from the goalkeeper. He's grown in stature really as the game has gone on debut. Big opportunity for Tariq Mitchell. From Brentford in the summer of 2016, another London club. First with the academy, will be his fourth season with the development squad. A pacey player, less to trouble. So he can play left back or left wing. Vote of confidence from Roy Hodgson. These young players, bringing 7 of them with the senior squad to Switzerland. Certainly for those 7, it gives an indication of where they figure in his thoughts. There's Ward. Kirby. Redevout. James MacArthur. Kirby actually ended last season out on loan in League One with Blackpool. In the second half of last season, scored once in 11 appearances for them, having joined them in January. Back with the Eagles for pre-season. So they do have men in the middle here, but Kirby actually tracked the runner, got back and did his defensive job. It had just gone out of play though, as the assistant is flagging. So they'll get the corner, Luzern here. The midway point of this second half. He was first named on the first-team bench against Tottenham in February of last year. He also featured in pre-season last season. He's conceded the corner here. Headed out initially by James Daly. He's also back from a loan spell. Normally get Kingstonian last season, although it was hampered by injury. Just signed another 1-year contract. To extend his stay, 19 years of age now. Away from the club, he's still a goal scorer on 4 occasions in just 9 appearances for the under-23s. Been at the club since under 14 level. He's made the first-team bench in the Premier League. He did so in April of last year for the first time. So just getting out a little more joy down their right-hand side. Kirby again has to stretch for that. Eric Thier letting it go for the throw. He was the standout performer actually in the previous friendly that they played, the 3-0 win against Aurora. He scored 2 of the goals. But has just signed a contract extension. He only joined the club in February. Short-term deal, it was up this summer. The sporting director, Remo Meyer, says he's a prospective player that they want to develop further, and they've given him another year's deal. He's 22 now. Didn't make a league appearance last season, on the bench 3 times. Every indication that could change in the coming campaign. The cross comes in straight down the throat of Wayne Hennessy. For all the changes that both clubs have made, the goalkeepers that started the game are still in the game, and they won't be required for a penalty shootout at this rate. We're just over 20 minutes away from this going to spot kicks, part of the competition format of the Uhrencup. 3 points for a win. If the game is drawn, there's the opportunity of an extra point for winning a penalty shootout competition. No extra time, of course, it will take place straight after the 90 minutes. Cup won by the team that finishes top of the 4-team group at the end of the week on Saturday. Chase on here for Marvin Schultz. of those that has gone the distance so far, and he had to cover good ground to get there. So Ndenga taking over, and Hennessy is called into action. Not enough stop from the Welsh international. So as extended as he has been really in the second half. From distance, skips up off the turf. Another of the substitutes, Ndenga. Caught it sweetly enough, actually. The German under-20 international. Relive coming off as the changes keep coming. Cian Flanagan, another very highly rated young talent, is his replacement. Hugely impressive for the under-23s in midfield last season for Crystal Palace.
Get on it! Stay on it! Go on! Come on, do things early!
Actually finished last season as the under-23s joint top scorer with the now departed Levi Lamika. Flanagan, he won the Young Player of the Year at the club. Scholar of the Year back in 2016-17 before becoming an under-23 regular. Youth international for the Republic of Ireland. He's on for Relive in the midfield as Daly gives chase.
Push in! Get him up halfway, girls!
It's Kirby.
Go on, Joe. He needs to play with someone. Keep on the ball. Keep moving. Stay on it if you have
Real
to.
involvement for Flanagan. So all of the substitutes, bar the reserve goalkeeper Stephen Henderson, introduced now by Roy Hodgson at this stage, going into these last 20 minutes. Surlett, MacArthur. Might open up for the shot here. Support outside him from Schlupp to strike it. That's close. As close as they've come for some time. Frustrated maybe that he didn't hit the target here, Jeffrey Schlupp. MacArthur was unselfish, could have taken it on himself.
Get on the front foot. Over you come, Alex.
The Georgian defender Otar Kakabatsa there made it more difficult than it might otherwise have been for Schlupp. Just to deny him a clearer sight of goal.
Alex, across. He's your man 9, that's you.
International defender who's come on in the second half. It's Kakabatsa. Be his second season in Switzerland. Joining actually from the Spanish second-tier side, Gymnastic. The lone stint in Denmark with Ebsbjerg as well. We have Dynamo Tbilisi back home. He's got 27 caps for his country. The other flank is Christian Schweigler. Oh, it's a good hit from Schultz. It's an equally fine save from Hennessy. Perhaps the best passage of play of this second half. Well, Schultz, one of those that has been on from the start, almost on the score sheet. Took it in his stride, generated real power, but it's a very strong right hand from Hennessy. He got down quickly to make his most impressive contribution so far. Still with the ball back in to ensure he's not required again. It does end up going to penalties. Hennessy has that particular stage on which to impress. He's played a big part in earning it with that stop. Plenty of time for a twist or two yet in this closing quarter of an hour, though. In this first fixture of the 2019 Uhrencup, the 55th edition of the oldest pre-season competition in Europe. First held back in 1962. First ever involvement in it for Crystal Palace. They're looking to become the third English club to win it in successive years after Stoke and Wolves. Mitchell trying to link with Schlupp here. It just runs away, though, and out of play. Lukau able to guide it away from danger. Hodgson just down below me. stay deep in conversation with Ray Lewington, as he has been really for much of this second half. Two of them together in tandem on the edge of the technical area. Not being able to provoke a response really in the second half from Crystal Palace. A perfect start, scoring inside 2 minutes. You saw the equaliser coming just 4 minutes later, and that has been in the end of the scoring so far. Rather surprisingly, given how the game started, but both teams have had their chances. Both goalkeepers have made big saves, and it remains right in the balance at this juncture. There's Schlupp.
Stay there, Joe. Stay there. Stay there. Joe's on.
Woods is the only outfield play for Crystal Palace that's been on from the start. So links here with Martin Kelly. Now Ward. He'll be returning it to Ward. MacArthur. Wants to punch clear. There's some pressure. Against Kirby, the second half substitutes the youngsters combine for Crystal Palace. Now Mitchell. Mitchell goes to his and his manager's frustration. He gave his defence the shout there, did Muller. Take decisive action, even if the course of the action might have been questioned in different circumstances. Long ball forward is dealt with by Woods. Mitchell. John Ward again. One server in this Crystal Palace squad. The start of what will be his 8th season with the Eagles. 7th in the Premier League. He won promotion in his first back in 2013 after moving from Portsmouth. 7th successive Premier League season. It's Palace's longest stint at that level, or will be. In fact, it simply extends that sequence. Current spell is the longest period that they have spent at the top table. And Luzern have actually found a little bit of stability in the Swiss Super League as well in recent years. They were famously something of a yo-yo club for a long time. Promotions, 8 relegations, 2 and from the top tier is the most in Swiss football, but they've played at the highest level since 2006. Only ever won it once, famously in 1989 when they were crowned champions of Switzerland. To PSV Eindhoven on aggregate in the first round of the European Cup the following year. They remain one of the best supported clubs in this country, drawing their fan base mainly from the centre of Switzerland. Swisspor Arena, their home since 2011, holds 17,000. And Denga falls backwards. This is Mistrav Farovic. Chase on for Damasha again. Continues to make a bit of a nuisance of himself. Denga again. Powerful presence in the midfield. Lucas Alves spreading it wide. Getting it back again. There's another actually that previously played for the local club BLBN 4 seasons ago. Lucas Alves. Mistrafovic forward again. Venturing forward himself, and Denga was covering. Everybody inside the Crystal Palace half again here. Kakabansa. He's tracked all the way. Mitchell did well, sticking to his task. Palace have to be well organised defensively, though. The questions continue to be asked. They do have virtually everybody back. been able to make the block. Inside the last 10 minutes of the 90, Tisa Arena. She's also the venue for tomorrow's match when Eintracht Frankfurt and young boys get their competition underway. Highly anticipated in these parts, actually, that particular fixture, given that Adi Hutter, the coach of Eintracht Frankfurt, returns to face his former side. He's the man that led young boys to the title a couple of seasons ago before heading to Germany. He's mentioned his replacement in Bern, Gerardo Ciani, who retained the title, came from Luzern. Much an interruption there because of Vader on the bench. He's now climbing up the side of the stands as well. We don't need to see him. And that is done with as quickly as possible.
We remind you again that it's strictly forbidden to enter the field before, during, or after the match. Thank you.
To stay off the field shouldn't really be necessary, should it? So being pushed back here, the longer this goes on. Maybe Luzern's extra fitness in pre-season, given the 3 games that they've already played, the extra couple of weeks training they've had, might be a factor. Less so, you would have thought, by the sheer volume of substitutions we've seen in this second half. That's a decent ball in towards Strafovic, who couldn't quite meet it. He's got to try and hurry back again here. Crystal Palace will break with Schlupp. Kirby and Silla ahead of him. Strafovic steps in to make the challenge, but he's conceded the free kick. He's actually on the end of the yellow card. The first caution of the contest, I think it's number 2, isn't it? Kakabata that's got the yellow. The final contact. The referee's kept his cards in his pocket until now. It's not unusual in a competition such as this. Felt there that he had little option. It's quite a cynical one because it may well have been a way bearing down on goal for that challenge, albeit came in on the halfway line. Pushed plenty forward in support of the previous attack, and we're possibility of being caught short there, the Swiss side. And Denga. Too far forward this time. Challenge coming in on Mitchell. Argued really Marvin Schultz there that he was really standing his ground. As Mitchell tried to use his pace to go around the outside of him. There's MacArthur. And Schlupp. Lucas Alves with a block, in it goes again.
Go on, Alex! Make your play, Alex!
He's having soaked up a little period of pressure, showing now that they're not finished yet themselves as an attacking force either. Ward with a throw towards Alexander Sörlot. He couldn't really make it stick. Svegler to try and clear. Flanagan. Just for a moment looked like he might come away with that. He still might, because it does break back at the foot of Kim Flanagan. Sörlot was waiting in the middle. Daly was a potential target as well. It didn't get as far as either of them. Side netting in the end. Final 5 of the 90. Penalties more of a probability than a possibility at this stage. The goalkeeper there with the clearance on debut could yet become a central figure. This side can profit here. Schultz in, and it's a really well-timed challenge with no margin for error in making it from Mitchell. Did brilliantly to get his left boot to that first, because it looked as if Marvin Schultz was about to get his shot away and potentially give Luzern the lead. Schnöfli going across to take the corner. He's been much quieter actually in the second half. And that made their equalising goal early in the first. Does deliver dangerously. The header is just too high. Remo Arnold, he met it. Spent last season out on loan actually in the Challenger League, the second tier with Winterthur, for whom he was a regular. The Luzern first team scored 3 seasons prior to that, didn't play at all in 2017-18, had his injury issues, which is why he was allowed out on loan temporarily. So brought back this summer, hoping that he'll be part of the Luzern squad again in the Super League this season. Of those that came on at half-time was Ndenga, did likewise. Forced back to Muller again. Crystal Palace fans you can probably hear in the background. And, good voice right now all the way to my left, looking forward maybe to penalties. Tia. Enough to draw the foul and win the free kick in dangerous territory. Tia Chef to give him his full title. Arthur, Palace player who conceded the kick. He's got a little bit of a tangle coming in from behind. More clumsy than anything else from James MacArthur. They've committed plenty forward for it, but there is the opportunity here to go directly for goal. We've seen Ndenga generate power from distance already, from open play in this second half. He's the one to strike it. It's rather wasteful in the end. Neither quite one thing nor the other. Certainly hoping to have an important role to play in the side this season. He came through the youth ranks at Borussia Mönchengladbach, didn't play for them in the Bundesliga. He had a loan actually in the Netherlands with Roda JC in 2017. This will be his second season with Luzern. The come on board midfield player.
En cas de match nul après 90 minutes, il y aura tout de suite un tir au but selon le règlement du tournoi afin de connaître le vainqueur du match. If the match ends in a draw after 90 minutes, the winner will be chosen by a penalty shootout.
Confirmation over the public address system that penalties are imminent. A minute of the 90 to go. These sides will pick up a point apiece at the start of the Uhrencup. The opportunity for an extra bonus point for whoever wins the shootout. It's looking increasingly likely, isn't it? They would have got long odds on this still being 1-1 though, when Luzern equalised to make it, so just 6 minutes into the match. Forward by Schlupp here. Didn't reach Surlock. He had that one big chance in the second half. He's had a lot by way of service other than that. Demashai looked lively, not really being able to get into the positions to do too much damage. Swiss-born Kosovan. Minutes are up. Ending with Luzern pressing here. So another opportunity for them to get the ball into the box. Well, back they go towards halfway, and that will be that for the 90 minutes. And it will be a penalty shootout to separate these sides on opening night in the Uhrencup. Ensure they both get off the mark. They've got a point apiece to their name as a result of this, but as mentioned, there is another point at stake in the shootout here. Goals coming early on the night. Christian Benteke putting Crystal Palace in front with just over a minute gone. The equaliser from the Luzern captain Pascal Schwerf, timed after 6 minutes. That was the end of the scoring. There's point chances for both sides in the second half, so to penalties we go. FC Luzern 1, Crystal Palace 1 after 90 minutes. Stick with us though, it is far from the end of the drama at the Tissot Arena. Consultations going on the touchline as to the order in which the kicks will be taken. Who wants to step up and take one? Stoke City, en route to winning this competition a couple of seasons ago, were involved in a dramatic shootout that went the distance, went through the entire lineup. Featured about 5 misses, I think, from the winning team. So Roy Hodgson with a bit of sorting out to do. Most of the regular penalty takers actually started the game and have since been taken off, of course. Both the goalkeepers played the full 90 minutes and will now be integral to the action. Wayne Hennessy, the Welsh international for Crystal Palace, and Marius Müller, the German, he signed on Friday, making his debut for FC Luzern. Just over a minute into that debut, but with a chance to make a bit of a name for himself here. Just working out at which end the penalties will be taken, who goes first as well. Part of the pre-season practice. James MacArthur has taken over the captain's armband for Crystal Palace in the second half from the man really that he replaced actually in the midfield, Milivojevic, who's the regular penalty taker, so successful from the spot for the Selhurst Park side since he signed from Olympiacos, but he won't be able to take a part in this, having made way at half-time. You imagine will be one of those leading from the front and will take one. Schultz, only 2 outfield players for Luzern to get through the 90 minutes. Wearing their armbands. Going to be taken away to our left-hand side, this shootout in front of the travelling Crystal Palace fans. By the looks of this, we'll get the best view of the shootout. Except for you, of course, watching with us. It's a little bonus for you at the end of opening night in the Uhrencup. Probably decent numbers actually, those Crystal Palace. I thought we saw a fair few of them in BLPN earlier in the day. They're flying into Zurich this morning. Popular resort for summer break in the Swiss mountains. Better if you can tie it in with watching your football club in action. So Crystal Palace are going to take the first penalty. James MacArthur, the second half skipper, up against the debutant Marius Müller. MacArthur goes for power, it's a really good penalty into the corner. Not much that Müller could do about that one.
First scorer for Crystal Palace FC, James MacArthur, number 18.
Real venom on the right boot, right into that corner. First up for FC Luzern is the Kosovan international, Shelkim Demirshaj, to take on Hennessy. It's an equally fine penalty, puts it in almost exactly the same place as MacArthur. Hennessy going the other way. Impressive start to the shootout from both sides. Striding forward for penalty number 2 for Crystal Palace is the number 2, Joel Ward. Half-time substitute. One of the more experienced players in their ranks still on the field at the end of the game. Against former Leipzig goalkeeper Muller. And they're all going the same way. All with the same sort of accuracy so far.
Crystal Palace FC.
Really confident spot kick this from Joel Ward. It's the Brazilian next up for Luzern. Lucas Alves, the centre-back. South Americans love a set piece or two, don't they? See what he can do here against Hennessy. Keeps his cool. It's the first that hasn't gone to the goalkeeper's right. Last time Hennessy did go to his right, understandable maybe in the circumstances, but never getting that one. From forward in the shootout, 2-2. Here comes Martin Kelly for Crystal Palace. The defender stepping up to the spot, but another of the senior players assuming the responsibility against Muller. From a Liverpool man. Again goes for power. Goalkeeper got closer this time. Still, no mistake from the spot from either side. Martin Kelly edges Palace back in front again, 3-2. It's a bit of height for the goalkeeper. He lets out a roar of frustration that he didn't get to it, but he got plenty of power behind it, Kelly. That's what beat the goalkeeper. Now the Georgian international, Otar Kakabatse, to take Luzern's third penalty kick. That's 3-3. Neatly done. Pressure off to an extent in the shootout at this stage of pre-season appears to be helping the players. No nerves from any of them as yet. Next up for Crystal Palace, that was closer. Squeezes it in. Keeper gets the right way by going to his left. Couldn't get his left hand to it in time though. So 4-3. So Tier. Stepping forward here from the Ivory Coast. A few days ago that his contract extension for the new season was confirmed. He scores from the spot for Luzern to celebrate it in style. Nobody blinking yet. On we go. Seen some really good penalties actually in this shootout. Top corner this time from Tia. Surlet, he had a big chance to win it in the 90 minutes for Crystal Palace. It was his only real chance of the game. Back at the club in pre-season after his stint out on loan in Belgium with Ghent, second half of last year. Wheaton steps up from the spot and scores. 5 from 5. We are effectively into sudden death now. Keeper kept low, Surlet fired it over it. Kept it under the bar. That's the standing skipper for Luzern, who has to score. Otherwise Crystal Palace win the shootout. Marvin Schultz for Luzern. Really good penalty in the circumstances. The pressure was on his shoulders. Again, he's found that bottom corner low to the goalkeeper's right. Yes, he did guess right this time, but he still couldn't get to it, so precise was it. Naya Kirby is next up. Came on in the second half for Crystal Palace. Uhrencup winner with England at under 17 level. Hoping to stake his claim in pre-season for the Eagles. Again, generates power. It was closer this time. The assistance of the frame of the goal. Job done for Naya Kirby.
Scored by number 22, Nia Kirby.
This is where Palace have the slight edge going first. No margin for error at all for those in white. Christian Schweigler is going to be the next to have a go. And sixth penalty kick taker. Of course, everybody now wasn't on the original list. Didn't necessarily want to take one. It is Arnold, isn't it? Hennessy makes the save. And Crystal Palace win the shootout and take an extra point in their first fixture of the Uhrencup. 1-1, it ended after 90 minutes, but Palace win the shootout 6-5. It's a good stop by Hennessy onto the angular post and bar. And Remo Arnold is the unfortunate player, the only one denied in the shootout. And as a result, it's the Eagles who celebrate. Didn't do an awful lot wrong with the kick. It was a good stop from Hennessy. Quality really high from the spot throughout. It's the 12th kick where they finally faltered. Crystal Palace do get that extra point to move to the top of the early standings in the Uhrencup. It is over to young boys at Eintracht Frankfurt back here at the Tissot Arena tomorrow. 7-6 when you factor in the shootout. Crystal Palace's favour. Fans have an extra point to savour. Really impressive from the spot. And then Hennessy had come close on a couple of occasions. Covers himself in glory by touching it onto the bar in the end to secure the victory for Crystal Palace here against FC Luzern. Let's have a look at the highlights. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it, in the sunshine when Palace scored with just a minute on the clock. A really well-worked goal. They came flying out of the blocks. Max Meyer did brilliantly in the build-up to put it on a plate for Christian Benteke. Comfortable finish for the Belgian in between the two centre-backs. Luzern just hadn't got started at that stage. And they paid a heavy price. Benteke hoping to put his injury problems of last season behind him. Muller in goal, making his debut, was beaten early, but the response was swift. Just 4 minutes later, Christian Schwelde's cross and Pascal Schurf with the finish. He got his foot to it first, did the Luzern captain. His opportunism rewarded by putting himself in the right place. It ensured that Palace weren't able to build on that early goal. They were pegged back straight away. Any confidence that they would have taken from going in front. Such a rapid stage of the game was taken from them just as quickly. Hennessy called into action with a smart stop. Max Meyer close as well. As Palace looked to restore their lead before half-time. Patrick Van Aanholt linking with him. It was deflected through to the German, the man who made that opening goal so impressively. New Italian signing Margiotta was close as well. Hennessy with a pretty comfortable save on that occasion. Into the second half though, and this was Palace's best chance to win it. Alexander Sirlet seeing his effort well saved by Muller. Having been picked out by Benteke, the Norwegian will feel he probably should have scored anyway, and not given the keeper the chance to make the stop. Benteke continued to prove a handful in the penalty area without being able to do anything with that one. His mere presence caused a little bit of panic in the box. Hennessy called into action here, a smart stop to keep Alan Denga. Decent dig from distance from the Luzern midfielder. Then it opened up for the Eagles. James MacArthur was unselfish. He tried to tee up Jeffrey Schlupp. Wasn't quite able to keep his effort on target. Even better stop really from Hennessy on this occasion to deny Marvin Schultz. So So 1-1 is the way it finished after 90 minutes, which ensured the game did go straight to the penalty shootout, which Crystal Palace were able to prevail eventually. 6-5 in the shootout. Hennessy with the save from Arnold at the end. After all 6 of the Palace players, MacArthur, Ward, Kelly, Schlupp, Sullett and Kirby had scored from the spot. They pick up that extra point in the Uhrencup to go to the top of the early standings. Do join us tomorrow back here at the Tissot Arena for that much anticipated meeting between Young Boys and Eintracht Frankfurt. But thanks for your company tonight. It's Crystal Palace that win the penalty shootout against the FC Luzern. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Travel partner, destination, sports, and voluntary partner, Swiss volunteers of the host cities, Städte, Bern und Biel. Und schließlich der Medienpartner und Commerce Sociales de nos partenaires medianau.ch, 20 Minuten, 20 Minuten, TV 24, Radio Bern 1, Radio Kanal 3, Radio Sunshine, der Wochenzeitung, Hebdomadaire Lilien, Bergbär, Monatsmagazin Flug und Baracom, and it's time to passive attack. Und schließlich grosses Merci, ein grosses Dankeschön unseren Matchbausponsoren für heute Abend. Und da merci le même à l'adresse des sponsors de Ballon de Match. Many thanks also to today's ball sponsors. Sabat AG Biel, Allianz Suisse, Generalagentur